I didn't just dislike HOAs. I was exhausted by them. Every month was a new letter taped to my door or slipped in my mailbox. One week it was my trash can being too visible. The next, it was the color of my curtains being deemed unapproved. It felt less like a neighborhood and more like living inside someone else's rulebook. What bothered me most wasn't just the money, even though the fees climbed every year for reasons no one could explain. It was the constant feeling of being watched. Like my own home wasn't really mine. Like every small decision had to pass through a committee of strangers who love control more than community. I would sit on my couch at night, staring at the walls, thinking, how did owning a home turn into renting from an attitude? Friends warned me this was normal. They told me HOAs were just part of adulthood. But deep down, I refused to believe freedom came with a monthly invoice. So I made a promise to myself. My next home would have no board, no meetings, no permission slips. Just walls I owned, land that was mine, and silence that didn't come with conditions. When I finally found a house listed outside any HOA, it felt unreal. Like I discovered a secret level in real life. Just me. And that was exactly what I thought I was buying. The first morning in that house felt wrong in the best way. No emails, no warnings, no neighbors measuring my lawn like they were training for the Olympics. I sat by the window with my coffee and looked out at the view that sold me on the place. Tall trees, a wide stretch of sky, a little hill in the distance where the sunlight spilled down in waves every evening. It felt like I'd bought peace itself, wrapped in paint and drywall. For the first few weeks, life was quiet in a way I hadn't experienced in years. I slept better. I worked better. I smiled for no reason at all. No one knocked on my door. No one complained. No one cared. I started planting flowers wherever I wanted. I installed lights the way I liked them. I lived freely for the first time in a long time. At night, I would stand by the window and watch the colors fade from gold to purple on the horizon. And every time I thought the same thing. This view is mine. This moment is mine. I didn't know then that someone else was looking at that same view and calculating. It arrived on an ordinary Tuesday. Just another envelope slipped into my mailbox like junk mail. Only this one felt different. Heavier. Stiffer. Official. The paper inside wasn't folded like a bill or advertisement. It was stamped, typed, clean, professional, and at the top, printed in large bold letters were the words, "Notice of monthly view assessment." My stomach tightened. It said I owed $250 every month for something called a community view preservation fee. According to this letter, my home benefited from shared visual access. According to this letter, I owed them for it. According to this letter, failure to pay could result in further action. I read that sentence 3 times, then a fourth. My hand shook, not from fear at first, but from disbelief. Because I didn't belong to any community. I didn't share anything. And I sure as hell hadn't signed up to rent my own sky. I Googled it. Nothing. I put quotation marks around the phrase. Still nothing. So I searched everything I could think of. Neighborhood view fee, property view tax, HOA view policy. It was like trying to search for a ghost. I sat at my desk, staring at the screen, then at the letter, then back at the screen. It made no sense. The words looked real. The format looked official. But the idea? Ridiculous. How could someone charge me for something I didn't buy from them? I reread the letter slowly, like a magnifying glass would reveal the lie. A return address across town. A name I didn't recognize. A fake-sounding department that didn't exist when I searched it. Then I noticed something else. It didn't say pay the HOA. It said pay the association. Which association? The one that didn't own my house. The one I never joined. The one that suddenly wanted my money. And that's when fear quietly shifted into something sharper. Anger. Because I wasn't just being billed. I was being tested. The next day, I drove straight to the county records office. No phone call. No email. I wanted proof. The woman at the front desk typed my address into her computer. Then she frowned. Then she typed again. Then she turned the screen toward me. "You're not in any association," she said. At all. I felt my chest loosen, then tighten again. I showed her the letter. Her eyebrows rose. She disappeared into the back with it. 10 minutes passed. Then 15. When she returned, she didn't look confused anymore. She looked concerned. "This is not legitimate," she said quietly. "This document isn't tied to any entity we recognize." She printed my parcel map and slid it across the desk. My land was clean, clear, independent. No shaded zones. No overlapping lines. No community authority. I owed no one anything. But that meant something worse was true. Someone had sent me fake paperwork. On purpose. With intent. And that meant the letter wasn't a mistake. It was a warning. The second letter arrived a week later. No greeting. No explanation. Just a deadline. Bolded. Underlined. It said failure to pay would result in documented consequences. Then a car I didn't recognize started appearing across the street at odd hours. No one got out. No one moved. It would just sit there, then vanish, then reappear. Another envelope came, then another, each one colder than the last, each one shorter, each one louder. I stopped answering unknown numbers. I stopped opening mail after dark. My peaceful house no longer felt like refuge. It felt targeted. Every time a car slowed down, my muscles tightened. Every knock echoed louder than it should have. This wasn't about money anymore. This was about pressure, about power, about seeing how far they could push me before I broke. And I knew one thing for sure. If I paid once, it would never stop. I stopped being passive. I started investigating. I looked up the association name from the letter. It existed, but not legally. It was what they called a paper entity. All appearance. No authority. Then I found forums. Posts. Comments. Stories. Other homeowners in nearby areas talking about strange fees. Strange letters. Strange threats. Different wording. Same playbook. Some people paid. Some people panicked. Some people moved. And some fought. The ones who fought had one thing in common. They were targeted harder. More letters, more pressure, more fear. Then I started looking at one name that kept appearing in complaints. The HOA president of a neighboring community. Power-hungry, untouchable, or at least he thought he was. When I checked public records, my heart sank. Property values next to my house were skyrocketing. Developers wanted in. Expansions planned. New build permits waiting. And my house, right in the way. The more I read, the clearer it became. This wasn't about a view. It was about pushing me out, legally if possible, illegally if necessary. I emailed the HOA president. I didn't yell. I didn't threaten. I just sent 2 attachments. My county map, my legal confirmation. Then I waited. His response came back in minutes. Short, dismissive, unbothered. He claimed my home was adjacent to jurisdictional boundaries. I sent back proof. He sent back attitude. Then came his final message. You'll find cooperation is easier than resistance. That's when my hands stopped shaking. Not from fear, from clarity. I wasn't dealing with a misunderstanding. I was dealing with intimidation dressed as paperwork. So I wrote one sentence. I will not pay $1 to something I don't belong to. Then I hit send. The lawyer didn't even wait for me to finish. This is extortion. Plain, simple, heavy. He explained everything they'd done wrong. The fake entity, the counterfeit formatting, the intimidation tactics, the illegal billing, the threats. People assume HOAs are untouchable, he said. That's how this works. But here's what they didn't know. I documented everything. Every letter, every timestamp, every envelope, every car, every email. We built a timeline, a story, a case. And suddenly, I wasn't on defense anymore. I had a plan. I had a direction. And for the first time since the first letter arrived, I wasn't afraid. The HOA held their monthly meeting at a community hall. I showed up uninvited, but not unexpected. When they saw me walk in, the room changed temperature. I waited. Then I stepped forward, and I placed copies of my documentation on the table. One by one. Silence. You could hear breathing. The president spoke. I interrupted. The lawyer stood, and the room leaned in. Illegal billing, forgery, intimidation, false claims, maps thrown on screens, emails read aloud. Suddenly, confidence turned into blinking and coughing and shifting chairs. No one clapped. No one smiled. No one defended him. The power in the room slid away from him like water from a tilted glass. Investigations followed, then audits, then silence. He resigned quietly. The association stopped contacting me entirely. The paperwork vanished. The phone calls ended. No apology. No explanation. No more pressure. Just absence. And honestly, it felt loud. Peace is strange when you get it back after a fight. My mailbox became boring again. My street went quiet again. My view became just a view again. And that was everything. Some mornings now, I still half expect another envelope. I still pause when unknown cars pass. But slowly, the tension is melting. This house is becoming what I bought it for. Mine. Not a battleground. Not a chessboard. Just a home. I drink my coffee in the same chair. I watch the same sunrise. But now, I breathe deeper. Stranger doesn't mean threat anymore. Silence doesn't mean pressure. And freedom? Freedom doesn't ask for rent.